Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fight Your Heart, children of God, and that's you, and that's you, and that's me, and that's me. I hope it's all of us. It's a pretty intense week last week, and the week before, and the week before that. Or we're just into 2025. Are we gonna reschedule Judge Arnold, or what's going on here? Did anyone get the zip ties from the first cop to see how tight they were? And then we'll measure my wrists. How about what they gave me at the jail saying it was vitamins? So I could start flipping out for how many days? Okay. Back off of personal items. What else? I mean, just so much. Just so much. Okay, I'm getting Joshua. And for me, it's pretty obscure. So I got this out. We got this from Pastor Baldwin, Liberty Fellowship in Kalispell, Montana. We order it through them. The other thing that's going on now that we have this out is, I don't know if it's been the last 2 to 3 weeks, so I notoriously have been posting church after they have to take out, I think they have to take out the beginning. I don't know why. Or it's by choice, because it's personal letters to the church and to the fellowship. And then sometimes at the end of the sermon, I think they're praying. So say church is an hour and some odd minutes long, or 2 hours even full. So then it would, however long the actual sermon is. So I only post on Quora. Still trying to navigate Instagram and that. I'm not good at any, it's hard to. I'm not particularly resistant. So I always post it on Quora. And I try to mention at least once to twice a week. Go to church. I used to try to actually announce it Saturday or even Sunday prior to church. Now, I know that this wouldn't be like an isolated situation, so I'm just saying this for Liberty Fellowship or anyone that's been trying to get engaged, even though if it's only an online platform. My letter actually aren't coming through either. So meaning when he does his newsletter, when Pastor Baldwin does his newsletter, and then I noticed the last one was in spam, which never has happened. It's the same email that I've had for years now. And then I haven't been able to find the last two, so then I know now I have to just go directly to Liberty Fellowship website. So, but now when I'm posting the videos, which would be already cut from YouTube, it's saying private, and then nobody can get into it on Quora. And I don't know why. And I have been having a little trouble with other people I promote. Most of them are heavy free speech advocates, and most of them a lot of times don't have the most tamed language. But I still appreciate their promotion of free speech and free expression. I try not to let it go too far, like into the crudest of the crude, but there are a couple artists I actually will deal with because they've got enough good, and maybe they'll iron some of that out. But a lot of it has been propelled because of the free expression and people getting in trouble and just all of this ridiculous stuff that never should have been going on in America, by the way. So we're going to pray. Okay, yes, only 4 minutes. I was going to say, do I need the extra light on? But for some reason, that's more light now than this actual room up here. What else? We were going to visit a church up near Detroit. We watched a few clips. Talk about tithing. And there was some... I'm sure it was a joke, but it was the actual minister. I mean, this wasn't like through someone else. I mean, we were like watching them a live recording, but say we watch it later or whatever. And pretty much like the joke was he was going to start asking if people tithe properly before they even can be involved. And I think there was like a lot of silk suits and stuff. And John's like, I don't even have, because we're not really into that. And then when we were attending way back, when he had some relatives pass on early on, we had a kind of some condensed funeral. Like we had some stuff that he was able to wear, but we were way more slender. And we don't know because of the references to tithing. It was just a bit excessive. And I guess it's something you'd have to witness. And I'm not going to call it out because maybe they were just having a bad day too. Sounded like the minister had loaned some money to someone. The money never got back to him. But that whole thing was really... Maybe it just isn't for us. And we'd be like really white. Probably the only white ones entering the building. So we're going to just sit on that for a while and just see how it rolls out. And so Joshua, did I say which one? Well, because I'm hesitant, so someone more skilled would know. And then also now we have the study Bible out today. And I'm going to do my best to read through where I can get to. The other thing that was brought to my attention was the cities of refuge. Cities of refuge. Because I tend to run a little more, I'm the warner, right? We warn. So sometimes we get a little maybe too on the other. I don't know. I mean, I think that we have to. I don't know what else to say. I think that whatever one person it might get to, that's what got them. You know what I mean? Some people are more bullheaded than others. So what's the hesitation? Well, I guess God wanted me to browse through Joshua. And I have started Joshua before. I want to read the description out of my Bible. But let's see how this one, maybe let's just go out of here, okay? Mine's King James too. The thing is that if it comes to pronouncing the names, and this might not have it broken up like that. I've kind of been like preserving it, if you want to know the truth, because mine's just starting to get pretty tattered, so. So let's hope that it's similar. So when I discuss the book of Joshua, the author, the earliest Jewish traditions attribute authorship to Joshua, except for the section regarding his funeral. It is uncertain, however, whether Joshua actually wrote the book or rather commanded it to be written. Regardless of the writer, Joshua is certainly the central character in the book. If any other person wrote it, the materials were collected out of his journals or memoirs. It contains the history of Israel under the command of Joshua, how he presided as the general of the armies in their entrance into Canaan, in their conquest of Canaan, and of the distribution of the land of Canaan among the people of Israel. Before I get off track, and when you say you wrestle, because I've discussed the harassment, in some instances, my harassment is nearly unbearable. It would be hard to explain how some of it comes on, like today, severe pressure, this whole region, whole brain, shoulder, all of this, okay? And so then if the ringing is excessive and it goes up, it's actually been going up super high and then going down, and now this year is even super bad. And then I get I can get all sorts of harassment. Thanks to not only the medical community, but maybe some naive people that raised me or that were clueless. Whatever, however this all went down, it's ugly. And the thing is I'm not alone. And there's material of me on the black market. And there is just such horrible, horrible material out there of me that if I probably ever saw it, I would probably die on the spot. So, meaning it would be fixed, I was drugged, there would be any number of things, because these were rapists we were dealing with. I did not know this. It would be difficult to articulate, is that going to be one of my words today, of my childhood into my early adulthood. My tolerance level was so high, it was unreal. Okay, so tolerance for evil, okay, and to allow the evil to be perpetrated on me and not know that I didn't deserve it. And if any of you can relate, you might be lined up at the clinic thinking that you don't want to be a girl or a boy. But when really it has to do with people that did stuff to you. What does this have to do with Joshua? Well, we'll find out. Because there is a war, and there's been a war for a long time. Anyone that may have been keeping track a little bit longer, they're going to see it in maybe a little bit of a different light. What my Bible says over there is that the essence of Joshua, and there would probably be numerous things, is regardless of the size of the army and the pursuits of other leaders, or however you want to look at it, Joshua's calling was enough, or something about Joshua and what he had brought to the table as a human, as a follower of God, and how he treated his people and his fairness, his honesty. God esteemed him, and he lifted him up on a pedestal. And he allowed a situation that would technically have been what would appear to be a military miracle, because it wasn't because his army was the biggest, the strongest, the largest. It was because of God's power. And when he decides something gets fixed, it gets fixed. I don't know about you, but I am a person that if I put my mind to something, it's something I want to learn. It's something that I wanted to pursue, not in all arenas, but if it was something in the areas that I was inclined to, I could somewhat mastered it, or maybe on my way to mastering it. So meaning like God in me, or however he made me, he has set a goal. It's something that he wants. And no matter how many times I get knocked down, and when I get knocked down, it can get pretty nasty, because like, I don't know, I discuss with you what I deal with. And so God has to pull me back, maybe a little more harshly than some others would be pulled back. So we were going to get into this about Joshua, but that was the essence of Joshua. And maybe I should at least just read the part that I was getting that was a little bit different than normal for me even. It's 19 verse 50. But then I would say just maybe go to 49. This is just technically when the land of, is it Simeon? The land of Zebulun. And then, so all the lands were divided. And then God said no more. So they made an end of dividing the country. Verse 50 is, and it's in the middle of something. So verse 49 of Joshua 19. When they had made an end of dividing the land for inheritance by their coasts, the children of Israel gave an inheritance to Joshua, the son of Nun. Okay, you go ahead and read that. And then we're going to go down really quickly. It won't be quick. Well, it could be. It could be. But it's smaller. It's smaller font. And then I did want to read the city of refuge, because he has it broken down here. Because we've tried to have, what are we calling these cities? Refuge states? What were we refuging? Oh, Lord. And I can't apologize. I can't apologize for my flair. And all this, by the way, this is Northern Lights, and this is not because of being woke or whatever, the rumors. This is actually done by artists. This is a Northern Lights thing. Actually, women from third world countries. This is where I got this from. It's a program to help women that are artists in more impoverished areas, and this is one of their pieces. This I just love. And why did I bring that up? Because most of my terror, but it's based in money, is based on lies. It's based on lies. And some of the most horrible things to protect old perverts. Like real sick. Not just a little, you know. So, cities of refuge, that's probably going to need to be re-looked at, right? Because now God is allowing these back to back to back to back. Like back to back to back. And I used to have a really poor relationship with a brother. He was 8 years older. He is scared to death I would ever say anything about anything or remember anything. He'd convinced himself that I didn't have a memory before the age of 10 or something really insane. And as he got older, it actually got worse. So that just lets you know. Woo! A little scary, huh? So, he would argue it's because of technology, so we know what's going on in more places than we did before. It's at the same rate that it was before. And I have actually caught myself there. I'm like, I think it might be. Like, it's just that we can see, or yes, we can see and experience so much more just within an hour of opening a device or the TV or whatnot. Is it more accelerated? Are we sure? These are just quick questions for all of us. And then I go on some groups where they study. They're in observatories. They've been watching a polar shift. They've been watching all these climate changes, and then they put all this guilt and shame on the kids and scared them to death. And some of these cycles of the earth had happened repeatedly. None of us would ever know the exact. So I think we need to rethink the cities of refuge. And then I'm off track. So maybe will this gleam any light, or maybe someone else will get something. The land of Dan, then we're gonna go down inheritances. So apparently we just need to be able to be smarter. But what I pray right now is the more professional ones, and I mean that lovingly now, is you will be able to make this more clear. But my main objective when I got on here today was, and look, my headache's letting up. Is it snowing? Maybe. Or there was a pressure change. Big temp change. God decides. There are times that I have been like that, and he knows that, as I'm like, Lord, there's too many of them. It just went on too long. Why? And so here we are, you know what I mean? And yes, we need to figure out cities of refuge for those fleeing fires and storms. Where's North Carolina? I mean, and all that. It just got... If I say someone's name's wrong, sorry. Inheritances, 1949 through 51. Eleazar, Eleazar. Here is the account of the particular inheritances assigned to Joshua. He was last served, though the eldest and greatest man of all Israel, and who, having commanded in the conquest of Canaan, might have demanded the first settlement in it for himself and his family. But he would make it appear that in all he did, he sought the good of his country and not any private interest of his own. He was content to be unfixed till he saw them all settled. And this is a great example to all in public places, to prefer the common welfare before their particular satisfaction. Let the public be first served. 2, he had his lot according to the word of the Lord, when God by Moses told Caleb what inheritance he should have. He gave the like promise to Joshua, which he had an eye to in making his election. It's 14:9. Oh goodness, sorry. That's a reference back to 14:9. This made his portion doubly pleasant that he had it, not as the rest by common providence, but by special promise. He chose it in Mount Ephraim, Ephraim, Raphaim, which belonged to his own tribe, with which he thereby put himself in common, when he might by prerogative as chosen his inheritance in some other tribe, as suppose that of Judah, and thereby have distinguished himself from them. Let no man's preferment or honor make him ashamed of his family or country, or estrange him from it. The tabernacle was set up in the lot of Ephraim, and Joshua would forecast not to be far from that. The children of Israel are said to give it to him, which he bespeaks his humility, that he would not take it to himself without the people's consent and approbation, as if he would thereby own himself, though greater than anyone, yet less in the whole assemblage. Huh. Why, it's ringing some bells, Lord. That's how our leaders are supposed to behave. Huh. It was a city that must be built before it was fit to be dwelt in, while others dwelt in houses which they built not. Joshua must erect for himself, that he might be a pattern of industry and contentment with mean things, such buildings as he could hastily run up without curiosity or magnificence. And then the city of refuge. So we're going to go back and just read from 49 to 50. When they had made an end of dividing the land for inheritance by their coast, the children of Israel gave an inheritance to Joshua, the son of Nun, among them according to the word of the Lord. They gave him the city which he asked, even Timnath, Serah, and Mount Ephraim, and he built the city and dwelt therein. These are the inheritances which Eleazar, and the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel, divided for an inheritance by lot in Shiloh before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So they made an end of dividing the country. So these are what refuge cities are supposed to be. Okay. The Lord also spake unto Joshua, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Appoint out for you cities of refuge, whereof I spake unto you by the hand of Moses, that the slayer that kills any person unawares and unwittingly may flee thither, and they shall be your refuge from the avenger of blood. And when he that does flee unto one of those cities shall stand at the entering of the gate of the city, and shall declare his cause in the ears of the elders of the city, that shall take him into the city unto them, and give him a place that he may dwell among them. And if the avenger of blood pursue after him, then they shall not deliver the slayer up unto his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwittingly, and hated him not before time. Neighbor, yeah. And he shall dwell in that city until he stand before the congregation for judgment, and until the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. Then shall the slayer return and come unto his own city, and unto his own house, into the city from whence he fled. And he appointed a Kadesh in Galilee, and Mount Naphtali, and Shechem, and a Mount Ephraim, and Kirjath Arba, which is Hebron, and the mountain of Judah. You know, I used to be able to just almost pronounce anything if I wanted. Okay. And on the other side, Jordan by Jericho, eastward, they assigned Bezer in the wilderness upon the plain, out of the tribe of Reuben, by Ramoth and Gilead, of the tribe of Gad and of Golan. Okay, those are the peoples. These were the cities appointed, appointed for all the children of Israel, and for the stranger of sojourneth among them, that whosoever kills any person at unawares might flee thither and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood, until he stood before the congregation. So, we're going to do the cities of refuge or not? Oh, we call them sanctuary cities. No, we need to maybe rename it and try to get it about right with the Bible. This seems about right, because I got to go. But half the police are the enemies of the people in a county, and maybe even more are tied in with the corruption. So we have enemies within the city and helpless people being surrounded by monsters. I tried to watch a safari. It was really good. I mean, it was amazing footage, but I'm just like, I just saw like how predator types are kind of ganging up, and it's not cool. And yes, there's still a lot of good people out there, and hopefully God kind of just brings them together in these refuge cities. That's just a hope of mine. I'm not saying, oh, I'm getting it. But what we got to see right now is, well, this could explain what I was experiencing. Just a little bit of pressure change. Just a little bit. I can walk better. You guys ready to go see it? Come on, let's go. Let's go. It's too beautiful to not see it. And it'll just go away. I mean, it could go away by the time I get down the steps. And I cleared a lot of the trash out, so it's available. Gosh, the hippos were just like, I'm like, you guys, you can't get in my lap. What is going on? We don't have earthquakes here yet or anything. Like, what are you doing? Well, there were, but they're so tiny, but that means they could change. So we got to go out in it real quick. And you'll see how dirty hippos are, and I don't know if they're as white as snow anyways, but you know what I mean. Okay, this will make my winter. This will finally lift my spirits a bit. Jesus is white as snow. Is that why everyone hates snow now? So many people hate snow. Whenever I'm in it, and even when it's scary or it's making life difficult for everyone, I just think how Jesus is the only one white as snow. And that he loves us. And God made these beautiful things for us to enjoy. And he never wanted us to fully grow up. I mean, you got to grow up. You got to deal with bills. You got to deal with life. You got to be an adult. But you always got to have fun too. And this is going to be, I think, pretty gnarly. So if the power goes out or something and we still have internet or something, does that work? Anyhow, it might not. You guys, this is absolutely gorgeous.